In today's podcast, what we're going to talk about is business success has nothing to do with good versus evil. Let me say that one more time. Business success has nothing, emphasis on nothing, to do with good versus evil. I need you to understand that. It's extremely important because I think that there are a lot of people that are somewhat delusional about this idea of business success being about good versus evil. But I'm here to tell you, business success has nothing to do with good versus evil. Let's talk about it. Welcome to another episode of Career Strategies. My name is Rodney Hughes, Mr. 100%. And the purpose of this podcast is to teach you ideas, strategies, and concepts that can help you exponentially advance your career success. Today's episode is being brought to you by 7 Deadly Resume Mistakes. It's a free resume writing course that you can take advantage of by going over to www.resumemistakes.com. When you head over to that website, essentially, you're going to discover how to avoid making the 7 deadly mistakes that cause most candidates to fail miserably when writing a professional resume. So if you'd like to take advantage of this 100% free resume writing course, all you have to do is head on over to www.resumemistakes.com. Again, that's www.resumemistakes.com. And if this is your first time joining us, make sure that you smash that subscribe button, because guess what? I'm going to be dropping some extremely valuable content on a regular basis, and I don't want you to miss out on it. All right, let's talk about it. So business success has nothing to do with good versus evil. So let me tell you where this whole topic comes from. So one of the things about me is that for over a decade now, I have been involved in the sales career or in the sales profession. And one of the things that I pride myself on is because selling was not something that just naturally came to me. I had to work diligently to learn how to sell, and most importantly, to learn how to become pretty effective and really effective at selling. And I've committed so much, I've studied so much, and I've applied so much that I would actually consider myself to be an expert when it comes to selling. Now, what does that have to do with this topic? Well, the reason I'm telling you that is because I had a good friend of mine reach out to me recently, and this particular individual started his own business, and now he's going through the growing pains of trying to sell his product in the marketplace. And so naturally, he's reached out to me because he knows that, hey, I've written a book on selling. He knows I've done seminars on selling. He knows that I've been actively engaged in selling for many years now. And so he values my opinion when it comes to sales. And so as he's been starting up his business, I've been sharing with him some of the wisdom that I've acquired through tremendous amounts of failure, through tremendous amounts of also success, and most importantly, through tremendous amounts of trial and error. And so he reached out to me recently, and I guess he was doing some cold calling, which in my opinion is some of the hardest selling that you can possibly do. But it's also some of the most valuable selling. It's one of the most valuable sales skills that you can acquire, because if you know how to cold call, aka go into a cold marketplace with people that you do not know, that do not know you, that do not know your product, don't know anything about you, and if you can convince those people to do business with you, essentially there's way more people in this world that you don't know than you do know. So therefore, if you can learn how to become just even remotely effective at engaging with that marketplace and generating business out of that marketplace, then you'll have an endless supply of leads and you'll be able to grow your business. Okay. And so that's what he's doing. Now, I've done my best to teach him some things that I've learned through just ungodly amounts of rejection. Okay. I've tried to teach him some ideas, strategies, and concepts that can help him improve his odds of being effective at it. But at the end of the day, when it comes to cold calling, guess what? You have to pay your dues. There is no way around it. Okay. There really is. There really isn't. There's no way around paying your dues when it comes to cold calling. And so he's going through that process right now. But he said something in a text message to me that I just found really, really interesting. And when he said it, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I can't let this one slide. I gotta address it. I gotta show him what's up. Because one thing I try to drill into his mindset is that, look, man, it's normal to get ungodly amounts of rejection. Okay, it really is when you start doing cold calling, because again, listen, you have no frame of reference of whether or not somebody would be interested in what you're doing or not. Okay. But one of the things that he said that kind of caught me off guard is, hold on, I'm trying to pull it up in my text message chain right now, because he said something really interesting. Hold on. Here's what he said. He said, I'm a good person, but I see you gotta channel the I don't give a expletive side. Okay. So essentially what he said is I'm a good person. So essentially you got to tune into your inner, let's just say, fuck it. Okay. You got to tune into your inner fuck it. And here's the thing. When he said the part that bothered me about that particular text message is the good person part, because I think that shines a light. And when I saw that, it dawned on me, if he thinks this way and he used to work, like he works in sales as well, right? He works in sales. He's been down this path before. And so if somebody that works in sales thinks that you have to be because essentially what he's saying here is you have to be a bad person in order to be effective at selling. And I think that's the furthest thing from the truth. Okay. As a matter of fact, just like the title of this says, business success has nothing to do whether you're a good or bad person. I could show you people in business that were extremely successful that are good people. And I could also show you examples of people who have been extremely successful in business that were bad people. Let me give you a case in point on here. Okay. So let's use a good person as an example. Hey, as far as we know, Bill Gates is a pretty good person. He has the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where he helps a tremendous amount of people. He started Microsoft, and he provided a product to the marketplace and did extremely well with it. And by all accounts, listen, I don't know. He might not be. I'm not saying he's a saint, but in general, I would imagine that most people would view Bill Gates as a good person, right? And he's also one of the wealthiest people in the world. Okay, as a good person. Now let me give you an example of a bad person who seemingly did pretty well from a business perspective. Have you ever heard of the guy Bernie Madoff? Does that ring a bell? Yeah, the guy that screwed a whole bunch of people out of millions or billions of dollars? Yeah, that guy, right? From a business perspective, he was able to actually accomplish something that most people aren't able to ever accomplish in business. And he was crooked as all get out. Okay? Yeah, bad guy, right? But the reason why I'm giving you this example is because so many people are walking around with a delusional perspective about this. So many people are walking around thinking that you got to be out here screwing people over, that you got to be a bad person, right? That you got to tune into your inner fuck it in order to win in business. And it's just not the case. Okay. And if my good friend thinks this, he's a great guy, right? If my good friend thinks this, I can only imagine, what other people think, right? Because this is a guy that has operated in a sales position before. And I think and essentially what he does right now is sales. And he thinks, and based on this text message, he thought that, I got to be a bad guy in order to be effective. And it's just not the truth. You don't have to be a bad guy to be effective at cold calling, right? But you also don't have to be a good guy to be effective at cold calling. Listen, whether you consider yourself to be good, whether you consider yourself to be evil, or whether other people consider you to be good, or whether other people consider you to be evil, being successful in business is about all right, so let me dive into this. Business success is directly tied to the execution of business principles, not good versus evil. Okay, business principles. So essentially, listen, whether you're good or evil, if you are providing a product, service, or solution, if you become good at delivering a product, service, or solution to the marketplace, you will make money. You will, quote unquote, be successful in business. Okay. Now, what makes you good or evil is whether, in my opinion, is the intention, right? In the example I gave you earlier, Bill Gates' intention was to provide a product to the marketplace that was going to help the marketplace. Bernie Madoff's intention at some point, maybe he might not have always been this way, but at some point, his intention was to screw a lot of people out of a lot of money. Okay? And that's what he did, right? Both of these guys generated millions, billions of dollars doing it. Okay? Because they executed business principles, right? So yeah, they were able to have business success about that. It didn't matter that one of them was good or one of them was evil. They executed business principles, right? So my pitch here is I don't want people to be bad. That's not what I'm trying to get you to take from this. What I'm trying to help you realize is that you don't have to be bad. You don't have to screw people out of money in order to be successful in business. And I don't want you to think that. I don't want my good friend to think this. I don't want anybody to think that you have to be out here screwing people over, because that's actually the absolute worst thing that you could possibly do. Okay? The most successful people on the planet are ones that are providing products, services, and solutions to people. They treat people fair. They provide their product, service, or solution to the marketplace, and the marketplace decides if they want to take advantage of it. Right? Most of the businesses that I see out here are good people providing a good product, service, or solution to the marketplace. Most of the successful people I know in business are not out here trying to con people or trying to take advantage of people or trying to do evil things. Okay? And I just don't want you to think that that's the route that you have to go down. It's kind of like this, right? And I gave this example to my friend. I said, it's kind of like climbing to the top of Mount Everest. Okay. Listen, when you climb to the top of Mount Everest, it doesn't matter. Mount Everest could care less whether you're a good or evil person. It really doesn't. Listen, when you're going up that mountain, you got to be able to fight through that pain, right? The pain of getting to the top of that mountain. Doesn't matter whether you're good. Doesn't matter whether you're evil. If you're going to be successful at getting to the top of Mount Everest, you're going to have to endure the pain of getting to the top of the mountain. Same thing when it comes to business. If you want to be successful in business, you have to endure the pain of executing the business principles that are going to make you successful in business, regardless if you're good or evil. Okay? So be good. Be good. All right. So I'm going to tell you now, I don't want to just say be good and leave it at that. So here's what I'm going to share with you. Okay. I'm going to share. I believe in being solution oriented. Okay. All right. So for number one, I want you to be good. All right. And anything that you do in your career, be good. It will pay dividends. You reap what you sow. Okay. I truly believe that. Right. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Right. Treat others as you would have people treat you. It's the golden principle, right? So that's the first thing. But I'm gonna give you 3 action steps that you can take if you want to be successful, right? Even if it comes down to you having to do cold calling or anything else in business. Here it goes. Number 1, acquire the right information. Okay. Nowadays we are extremely blessed because we live in an information age. Right? Meaning you have more access to information now than you've ever had ever in history, ever in mankind. Okay. You have more access to information now faster than ever before in history. Okay. But there's a good and a bad side to that. The good side is, hey, you have access to information. The bad side is you also have access to a lot of misinformation. Right? So the first thing is you want to acquire the right information. You got to be operating with the right information, okay? If you want to be successful, okay? And no matter what you do. Action step number 2, you want to find the right execution recipe. So once you get the right information, listen, just because I teach you something that works really well for me, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work very well for you, because we're all different, right? And so when it comes to cold calling, what I teach my friend is, look, I teach him how I do it, but he's going to have to take what I do and make it his own, right? And so you have to figure out what your right recipe is. So once you get the right information, then you want to start applying that information and figure out, okay, what works for you. Okay. And then number 3 is, once you figure out what works for you, then you need to duplicate what works for you. You want to systemize it and then duplicate that system and execute that system over and over and over again consistently. Right. And if you do those 3 things, you will have business success. It really is that simple. Not easy, but it's definitely that simple. All right. But please understand this. When you do those 3 things, it does not mean that you have to be evil. It does not mean you have to be out here scamming. It does not mean that you have to be out here taking advantage of people. Okay. It doesn't mean any of those things. It means those are the principles and the strategies that you have to execute if you want to be successful in business. And your best bet is to be good in business. Okay. Never allow yourself to think that the people out here that are being successful in life are the ones out here screwing over people. Don't ever allow yourself, because most people that I know that are being successful, and most people, if you really pay attention and you do the research, I'm sure you'll find that most of the people that are succeeding in business are the ones who are treating people fairly, are the ones that are treating people right, are the ones that are out here providing a good product, service, or solution to the marketplace. It's not the evil people. Okay. Yes, the evil ones get a lot of attention because, if it bleeds, it leads. That's the old moniker for the news industry. The people who commit evil are going to get much more attention. But please understand, when it comes to business success, the people who are actually winning, most of them, the overwhelming majority of them, are good people. All right. Listen, hopefully you got great value out of this video. I want to invite you to pick up a copy of my book if you haven't done so already. The Ugly Truth About Getting Hired, How to Land the Job of Your Dreams Regardless of the Competition. This is an extremely important book. I think this book is unlike any other book that you'll find on the subject. And I'll even go on the limb and say, in my opinion, I think this book could end up being the most valuable book that you've ever purchased, hands down. Okay. And the reason I say that is because the first half of this book is all about teaching you the mentality, about how to have the right mentality when going through the job interview process. But then the second half of the book is literally me walking you step by step from point A all the way to point Z, teaching you how to avoid the major pitfalls and exponentially improve your odds of having phenomenal success in the job interview process, whether you're at the entry level or whether you're at the executive level. Doesn't matter. Okay. So if you'd like to pick up a copy of this book, you can get a physical copy or ebook version by heading over to my website, www.theuglytruthbook.com. Again, that's www.theuglytruthbook.com. All right. Hey, listen, thanks for checking out this podcast. Hopefully you got great value. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care.